But, I've grown, they've grown, I'm right with the people in my life.
But I've grown, they've grown, we've all I'm right with the people in my life. But Kelvin's not having that he's asking the court for them to start issuing payments back to him, as per their contract and their agreement in their divorce. Now when it comes to me being behind, and being a king to the queen who I consider still a queen of daytime media, so you will not believe this, but Wendy Williams's no-good husband, Kevin Hunter, is allegedly trying to get Wendy to marry him again after you went broke, and his mistress dumped him. And the worst part is that word on the street is that Wendy is actually considering taking this man back now. If you're familiar with the backstory of how Kevin did Wendy dirty and leached off of her for years, which ultimately led to her downfall, then you know that Wendy needs to stay as far away from this man as humanly possible. But see, the sad part is that Wendy's son recently revealed that Wendy is really vulnerable right now and struggling with mental health. So it's possible that Kevin is now trying to take advantage of Wendy's state and weasel back into her life. And by the life I mean her pocket. What's really concerning is that many are speculating that this is all part of Kevin's plan to become Wendy's legal guardian and be in charge of her conservatorship, which would mean he would have complete control over her money after her bank account was compromised. Kevin is apparently Barrow, and now that his fiancée kicked him off, he's desperate to get back on that gravy train. To put things in perspective, Daily Fargo said that she is an incapacitated person who requires a guardianship and is unable to access her funds. In 2019, Wendy filed for divorce from Kevin after it came to light that he had fathered a child with his longtime mistress, Sharina Hudson. Although Wendy was aware of Kevin's affair for years, she was unaware that he was using her money to finance Shireen's businesses. In fact, he even bought Shireen a house close to the one they shared in this backwoods Barbie. He was tricking up money. She's in the passenger seat of my Rolls-Royce Ferrari, and I mean really, really, and our sons are in Miami. As a result, I have to be composed when speaking with him on the phone, just like a loving mother. I've read about it in blogs and tabloids. The address of this place he had bought to share with this backwoods is 9 miles from my Livingston residence. Kevin and Sharina were able to live comfortably without having to work because to Wendy's continuing alimony payments to him after their divorce. Wendy's money was used by Kevin to try to set up a number of business ventures for her, including an online clothing and jewelry store, a kiosk in South Carolina, and even to pay for her to become a realtor. However, as was to be expected, all of Sharina's ventures failed, and she and Kevin continued to rely on Wendy's alimony checks. However, when Wendy became ill and her show was canceled, she stopped paying alimony. And soon after, Sharina dumped Kevin and moved back in with her mother. This showed how desperate Kevin was, so he tried to take legal action against Wendy's financial guardian in an effort to get Wendy's alimony back. Wendy later claimed that her former financial advisor, Lori Schiller, was the mastermind behind the whole issue and had lied to Wells Fargo about her being of unsound mind. Wells Fargo had frozen all of her accounts, stating that Wendy was an incapacitated person in need of someone to handle her financial affairs. Additionally, Wendy's attorney disclosed that Schiller had been fired by Wendy for inappropriate behavior regarding their professional relationship. Schiller's response to this was probably to go to Wendy's bank and convince them that Wendy couldn't handle her finances on her own. Unfortunately, Wendy's attorney was unsuccessful in getting a temporary restraining order against Wells Fargo, and Wendy was appointed a financial guardian. I find it absurd that a bank could freeze an account and declare a person incapable based solely on the words of another person. Moreover, Wendy was already in a terrible situation, let alone Kevin's attempt to pursue her and compel Wendy to hire a guardian. Kevin filed a complaint against Wendy's financial guardian in court, asking them to start paying him alimony again. The judge reportedly turned down Kevin's request, but you have to hear what this man wrote in his filing, because it's shocking how bold he was. Kevin said, "I have fallen behind on most of my bills," and claimed that his income is dependent on the alimony payments. He went on to complain that his car insurance hasn't been paid because he hasn't received monthly severance payments and that he's behind on credit card payments. I currently live in a community where homeowners association dues are required, and I'm behind on that bill. If the homeowners association fees are not paid, foreclosure will soon follow. Fortunately, the judge also found it ridiculous and ordered his application to be dismissed without prejudice. However, it appears that Kevin won't give up until he gets his hands on Wendy's money, because rumor has it that he is attempting to persuade Wendy to take him back so he can put her under conservatorship and become her guardian. Kevin wrote, "My life has been greatly affected since the plaintiff stopped making payments under our settlement agreement. What truly concerns me about this situation is that only a few months prior, Wendy's only kid, in an exclusive conversation with The Sun, Kevin Jr. expressed his concern that his mother, who is surrounded by people who are abusing her and pushing her to drink despite her history of substance abuse, will suffer some sort of harm." According to Kevin Jr., Wendy's guardian and some of her management team are not telling The Sun the truth about Wendy's condition. And Wendy's mental and physical health have gotten worse since she was placed under financial guardianship. Because she is surrounded by people who are taking advantage of her bad health and pressuring her to return to work so she can continue providing for them all, Wendy is in grave danger. According to Kevin, it shouldn't be a top concern at all. And the person who was employed is taking advantage of the fact that the person has to improve. Additionally, Wendy's son revealed that during the time Wendy lived with him in Florida, from late 2021 to the spring of 2022, he looked after her and made sure she abstained from alcohol. However, ever since the court appointed a financial guardian for Wendy, he has been cut off from Wendy's support system. And the most concerning aspect is that Kevin Jr. expressed fear for his mother's life because of the people who surround her. He knows that Wendy uses alcohol at a rate that is dangerously high, and that this occurred after Wendy left rehab in October 2022. After learning that Wendy's team had coerced her into signing contracts while she was in recovery, Kevin Jr. claimed that these individuals essentially put her in a situation where she was agreeing to things she shouldn't have. When I learned that Wendy was agreeing to things related to her rehab, I immediately thought, well, okay, they are taking advantage of her. We all know that this would be a complete disaster for Wendy because she is already struggling. And if Kevin manages to get his hands on her money again, I don't see how Wendy could ever get her life back on track. One fan wrote, "Man, what sewer did Wendy find this guy in, ladies and gentlemen?" Another fan wrote, "If this is true, Wendy is actually considering taking Kevin back." I hope Wendy is strong enough to keep her heart safe from her ex. He's the worst of the worst. But please let me know how you feel about all of this. Do you think Kevin is planning to place Wendy under conservatorship? Let me know in the comments below. Then watch this next video. Please extend the dating SLC courtship period with a potential spouse. They can maintain the facade indefinitely. If they constantly raise red flags on the play, it's on you if you keep them around.